I'm sorry, the day the earth stood still. Anyone that then gets a CNN money report saying that he's going to build the third temple in Jerusalem is going to get my attention, and I'm going to investigate. Well, it turns out that Steve Wilner is going to be the video editor and somewhat spokesperson for Michael Prescott, who is the third prophet, or the prophet of Supreme David Rockefeller, Lucifer redeemed. And so therefore I immediately contacted Steve, being that we've been kind of on the same track and somewhat in communication with each other, being friends on the synchromystical path. I was like, Steve, what's going on, man? Have you made a deal with the devil? And he kind of chuckled at me and said, no, I have not made a deal with the devil. Lucifer Supreme is exactly what he says to be, and we will be helping him build the third temple in Jerusalem. So, lo and behold, Steve has promised me exclusive reports on the progress of Supreme David Rockefeller. So you'll be able to get that here and at the Free Zone on Oracle Broadcasting at 8 p.m. So we will keep tabs on Supreme David Rockefeller, because I want to know. I gotta say, I want to know. But more than just Supreme David Rockefeller, there are other messiahs that are popping up, and one that has been in the back wings for quite some time is the Maitreya, being brought to us by Benjamin Creme, along with Share International. People are trying to sort out who the Maitreya is, especially since Benjamin recently came out and said that Maitreya had made an appearance on American public television, national broadcast. So people started to seek and try to figure out who was this Maitreya and what TV show did he happen to be on. Now the curious thing is that Benjamin Creme said that the Maitreya will take many forms, and you might have seen his original photograph taken in Kenya, where he was performing miracles, healing, and bringing things from nowhere. Well, take into account that when Maitreya was in Kenya and making his first appearance there publicly, so was Obama. Curious. Some even started to think maybe Obama was Maitreya. So now Maitreya came out, and no one knows who he is, and they're curious and wondering and searching, and they find this character, Raj Patel. Raj Patel said many words out of his mouth on, what was the name of her show? Democracy Now! And then also later making an appearance on, I believe it was Colbert. Is that right? I'll have to double check that. I'm sorry. Raj Patel came out saying many things about sharing, about how forgiveness was the crucial ingredients here, and that the world had to realize that we were one system. I agreed with everything Raj Patel had to say. Actually, when I looked into his eyes, I felt that he was very sincere. And of course I would expect that of a Maitreya or a Messiah. Well, Raj Patel is a very interesting character, and I intend to dig deeper into him as well. But what has happened is that there were certain signs and symbols that were supposed to lead to the appearance of Maitreya, one being a star. So as you go and you look at the different videos on Maitreya, the most recent being on Red Ice Creations, and you might want to catch my interview I just did with Henrik. It's up on my YouTube. And the second half for that, you'll have to subscribe to Red Ice Creations, which I highly recommend. They're a great couple of guys there and worth listening to, and their interviews are fantastic. I love Henrik. So as you start to look, you'll see the video where they start to say that the star is appearing all over the globe. People are seeing it from Moscow to America. Now, immediately I noticed an interesting pattern with this star. Okay, so go have a look at the video. It is in the Space War News. Have a look at the star, and then go down where I have a link saying Maitreya's star with a question mark. Because, once again, what I've always wanted to do for you is bring to you my memories, bring to you what I know. And that there was a lot going on that I was paying attention to back in the 90s that are coming to light now that most people weren't paying attention to. Like I was saying, people are laughing at me about Milosevic. Uh, well, back at that same time, there was a project that the Russians had launched called the Novy Svet, or the New Light experiment, which was launched February 5th, 1999. This can be found as the Znamya, that's ZNAMYA 2.5, the Znamya experiment, or the New Light experiment, where Russia launched in 1988 their first giant mirror up into space. Then the 2.5 came out in 1999, not to get you confused there. So there have been a couple of attempts to get a giant mirror up into space, and you will of course find this in my HARP video. This giant mirror, or the New Light experiment, was of course supposed to radiate sunlight back to the Earth, warming regions in Siberia for agriculture was of course the plan. And this is right about the time that 007's GoldenEye was coming out. And this was also the very moment that they were announcing that global warming might be a reality. I don't know if you guys remember all the way back then when they were still questioning this. So the Space Regatta Consortium of Russia launches a giant mirror up into space. They try for 3 days to get the fan to open so that then they could radiate sunlight back down onto Earth. And after 3 days of attempts, they say that it had completely failed and they were just going to burn it up in the atmosphere. You can find later details from the Russians themselves saying that that's okay, we'll then just put it on the International Space Station, which the Endeavour is right now launching up there to bring the new robotics control center to the ISS. This is all getting very scary, and we're going to get into robots and all of the Metropolis ideas on a later Radio Freeman. Today I want to tell you about new capitals and end-of-the-world scripts, the coming and rising of messiahs, and the technologies that might be used to fool us all. So when you start to look at that Maitreya's star, you will see the pattern, and I'll do this soon. I'll superimpose the very mirror over that star, and you'll see that they are in the same form. So let's not believe yet in this Maitreya's star, the new star of Bethlehem, as it were. Let's first consider that it might be the Space Regatta Consortium's New Light experiment. So we have to keep this stuff in mind. We have to remember Echelon. We have to remember the New Light experiment. We have to remember the accusations of earthquake machines and all of that, so that things become more and more understandable. But are they understandable when we start to see giant orbs floating in and out of the sun through the Soho satellite? This was something that was actually talked about by Nassim Haramein, and now seems to be coming true. Is our sun possibly a gateway? Now, you'll see the photographs that I have from 1999 up there from the Soho satellite. I took those myself, took them off the web myself, the Soho satellite, and you'll see giant portals, or what seem to be some sort of portal or weirdness opening up out of the sun and radiating some sort of beam. Very curious, very, very curious. And at that same time, we were watching something called the Sun Cruiser, which I think you can probably still look up, which seemed to be a giant, massive craft floating outside of the sun. Now we are getting many reports about these orbs opening and coming out of the sun. Meanwhile, what is going on in Somalia and Yemen? Now, as I covered earlier on the radio shows, you can go back to the archives. I hope you guys are all downloading Radio Freeman to your iPods, iTunes, and everything else so that you can listen to all of these shows at your leisure. I do have all the links there for you to do so over on freemantv.com. So I had reported to you when the Ethiopian Catholic Church had announced that they housed the true Ark of the Covenant, and that they were going to release it to the public, let everyone know this was the true Ark, and that he had to go and speak with the Pope first. Next thing we know, he returns from the Pope, and he is saying, well, I never told you I was going to show the Ark of the Covenant to the public, but I still